So we're here today with Roland with KvltGames talking about their latest and greatest releases.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 4 new games, and then you're re-releasing The Great Rebellion on mobile?
Exactly. Yeah, not directly on mobile, but on a handheld console.
Oh,
For
yes.
legal reasons, I can at the moment not say the exact name just yet because we have to do a few things in the background still. But there aren't that many. It's not the Atari Lynx, I can say that. That's what we will probably release next in the next few months. And
Cool.
apart from that, we are working on 4 new games. That sounds a lot, but
How can one developer work on 4 games? I assume you have like satellite teams.
yeah, exactly. No, I obviously can't do that. It kind of just happened like that. It wasn't really originally planned. Originally, we were just like, okay, we're going to do a sequel to The Great Rebellion because that's kind of the obvious thing to do. And then we talked a little bit about like what kind of genre could it be, and relatively quickly we came to this idea to do like a top-down shooter with an isometric perspective, because it's just something I always really liked, like isometric games, like classic Fallout or Diablo or so.
It looks a lot like Fallout from the old Fallouts.
Yeah, we got that a lot, and that's really interesting because we didn't fully that wasn't really intentional. It's just like we were making it, and as we were making it, we noticed ourselves, and also like people gave us the feedback, man, it kind of looks like Fallout. And we have decided to like really lean into this. We are actually currently in the process with all the feedback we got and like a ton of new ideas we got. Yeah, reworked the game's art design a bit to go even more in that direction. I can't say anything too specific yet, but there will definitely be. It will be a bit retro futurist, let's put it like that. But not. It won't be like a straight Fallout ripoff. We have
Right.
our own take on that.
Because I noticed when the character goes into one of the buildings, there's like these gold sort of like Art Deco hotel kind of pillars in there, and I was very like, ooh, is that going to be
exactly? That's very much the direction we want to go into. There still will be kind of there still will be the cyberpunk aesthetic, the sleek neon and everything, but we want to mix that with more. I mean, kind of like what, I don't know, games like BioShock have done, or obviously the classic Fallout has done. But with the current idea is to do that, but with a specifically European twist, kind of like, like take things that are specifically like have the levels take place in different regions of Europe or future Europe. Just take certain things from each country, and like in England you will have like, I don't know, like flying like Beetles and like the Beetle cars or I don't know, just stuff that is typical, or like Art Nouveau style mixed with cyberpunk, that kind of stuff. So we're currently like figuring that out, having an artist draw concept art for us. So
I think people are really craving that like retro futurist like deco punk kind of art style, because like it was kind of like a flash in the pan in like real life, and we didn't get like decades of media of that stuff. But you occasionally see this concept art floating around of like different like Art Deco designs and stuff. But there isn't.
That's a pretty good point actually, because as you said, like these art styles weren't around for a very long time, like Art Deco or Art Nouveau before it, mostly in Europe. It was relatively short. Like these were the last kinds of where you had like these art styles that were pervasive in all parts of culture, kind of, like you had Gothic architecture or Renaissance art and then you had Baroque, and like these art styles, you don't really have that anymore. Like nowadays we don't have like one unified art style. These were like the last remnants of that kind of, but they disappeared all very shortly. So I think that there is something to that we basically, what if this would have gone into the future for a longer time. That's kind of the idea, actually.
Yeah, and the thing that excites me the most about it is, in media we see like BioShock and we see Fallout, and they have their own kind of like I guess BioShock is they're different art styles, but they're both kind of like in that Art Deco sort of world. But they're both like highly cynical. Like they use those things as a thing to be like, oh, see, it wasn't so great in like the 50s or whatever. Oh, like everything's bad. Oh, everyone's dead now. And now that you guys are taking a crack at those kinds of art styles, it feels like it'll be less cynical, more like a tribute to those art styles, those time periods.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. That's kind of what we want to do. Yeah, we have been thinking like there is this whole phenomenon that people take things that are meant as satire, like Starship Troopers, Helldivers, Warhammer 40k. Even though I don't think it is a satire, but some people claim it's supposed to be one. And they say like, it's satire, but actually it's like the coolest thing ever, objectively speaking. So we're just gonna do away with the satire part and like immediately say it's the coolest thing ever. So we get to the point faster. And of course, so as you said, like Bioshock, Fallout. I mean, I don't know, at least with Fallout, I guess, or I mean, there is at least some aspect of like actual also like homage to this. Like it's not all just but it is very strong. You're right. Yeah.
Fallout 3 from New Vegas. As it goes on.
It gets a bit more pronounced. Like it's the Flanderization of Fallout. That they take these elements and just exaggerate it. But it's of course very American. It's Americana essentially. And so we want to do that, but like in a European way.
I think like they can't keep people from loving it.
No, definitely not.
Even though they don't want it to be, they don't want people to like it. They're like, oh, see, look at these dead bodies. They were on a date, but they're dead now. It's like, even though they don't want you to like it, people like it anyway. It's kind of like there's a lot of examples of it, like the Elusive Man in Mass Effect 2. Everybody liked him, and everybody was like, based like. Elusive Man pilled, like only work for him in the third game, so they like kill him in the third game. They're like, no, you're not supposed to like him. He's like, I want to preserve humanity and like kill aliens. I'm like, yeah, me too.
we are definitely gonna dial back, and this has been like there have been like lots of internal discussions about this. We're gonna dial back the overt political stuff and exchange that with more like themes that are definitely there, and you can spot them if you have a sense for that, or if you
I think that's the best way to do it, because like I said, if you see something you really like from somebody that you can't trust, like from a company you can't trust, like you see, oh, they're making a deco punk Magic the Gathering set, and like like Wizards of the Coast is like awful, and so the set is going to be awful, and they're going to be very like disparaging.
The moment it's like that these days. The moment you see something nice, you immediately think like, okay, so how are they going to subvert it? What's going to be the thing?
But with you guys, your customers know, well, they're not going to subvert it. They actually like this stuff because we saw the Great Rebellion, and so that's like, it's like you're showing your papers like, no, I'm cool. I made the Great Rebellion, and now we get to explore all these cool worlds that other companies will mess up on purpose because everyone can.
We have this privilege. We can just like do all these things straight. Like we don't have to subvert anything if we don't want to. So you know what you get with us. We can guarantee you that you don't have to be afraid. Like, okay, so where's the catch? Where did they hide the turd in all of this or something?
So in terms of connecting this to the first game as being a sequel, how does this, how does the story go on?
There will be a big time jump. It will be very far in the future, and our heroes from the first game, they were in a kind of stasis in the meantime, and in the meantime there has been this golden age. Everything was hunky-dory after the first game again, and all these like, and that's where all this like retro-futurist stuff comes from. That the cities were rebuilt in this old glory, harkening back to these old styles and so on, but in a more futuristic way. And then when this game starts, another I don't want to spoil anything, but another catastrophe will happen, and things are in ruin again, and then our heroes have to come back and save the day again, so to speak. So that gives us a lot of freedom to experiment with stuff and also evolve our style and change the tone of everything a bit. It will be definitely more gritty, darker than Great Rebellion, which was very cartoony, pixel art, bright colors and such. That's a bunch of concept art. We also you can see here The gameplay, we're currently, this is all pre-alpha footage. We have like the core gameplay mechanics set up at this point. There will be this. We try to like do a lot of stuff with environment. You can destroy walls, and you can you can spray those liquids, and you can set the liquids on fire, and you can we want the player to have a lot of tactical, and there is this little, you can see this little companion that shoots on his own, like a little turret. Yeah, you will be able to like place those. They will follow you, but you can place them, and then they kind of like secure an area for you and such. So yeah, it's very combat oriented. It's obviously only stylistically like Fallout. Gameplay wise, it's going to be an action game. It's going to be a shooter, but we want to have this like reactive environment and cool gameplay where you can things, and also there will be lots of blood. we wanted to finally do a gory game, or at least cartoon violence like that.
And, they say that the sci-fi that came out of like the 80s, when it started with like the post-apocalyptic media started to come out, it was this very pessimistic view of the future, whereas like when you look at sci-fi from like the 50s, it was very optimistic about what the future held. And then like sexual revolution happens, and then all of a sudden the sci-fi starts getting darker and darker. How long until you think we're gonna start seeing like that optimistic, like guy in a tight suit goes into space with a ray gun kind of sci-fi? Like
I don't know. It's hard to do that at the moment. I've been thinking about that myself, and I don't actually want to contribute to like blackpilling and only doing like dark and gritty and negative things. But on the other hand, like, I mean, it's hard to do something super optimistic without being inauthentic, because things just don't look that great. Let's be honest.
I know.
It was a lot easier in the 60s, in the 50s to have this optimistic, bright vision of the future. So we want to. On the one hand, we want to be like, we want to go against the zeitgeist in certain aspects, but on the other hand, we also do very much want to be with the zeitgeist in a certain sense, that we speak to what is actually happening. Yeah, that's the thing. I can't claim to know how things are going to develop, and that's kind of also the tightrope we are walking here with the setting and the story. It's going to be grim, it's going to be dark, but it's not going to be nihilistic and without hope. These are two different things. You can't just be like bleak and edgy for the sake of it and be actually nihilistic and everything sucks and there is never going to be any chance. And you can do that, but I don't want to do that. That's also not how I see it.
Yeah, and I talked to this guy from Romania, and I was saying like he was a streamer, and I was like, oh, there's another streamer from Romania. He was like, oh, cool, and then they start talking, and I was saying, oh, that's really cool that you guys have this sort of like solidarity between you two, and he's like, of course we do. We're both like Romanian, and I was saying like we don't have that in the U.S. To tell someone like, oh, there's someone else that's like similar to you, to be like, oh, you assume we all know each other? It's like this bad thing, but it's sort of this truth that you should have a certain amount of solidarity to people that are like you, and I think it's an obvious truth that we'll end up returning to, and there's a lot of obvious truths like that I feel like the world is slowly like turning back around towards.
We'll probably get there eventually, but the way there probably also won't be easy. So which just.
So you need the lasers.
Yeah, exactly. The lasers and the explosions and everything. Yeah. And also, I don't know. It's like there is also an aspect of nostalgia for me, because we decidedly wanted to go back to this late 90s. There was this at the end of the 90s. There was this era in pop culture where everybody was wearing dark trench coats and sunglasses and everything. It was always night, and like the Matrix and that kind of stuff, the gritty with industrial music in the background and so on. So we are also kind of going back to that a little bit. Like that's also just kind of a vibe that
I think that's like basically peak fashion though. Like sunglasses at night, like you know, a
Yeah.
bunch of submachine guns. Like, what else? What are you, you know?
It's true, you know. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. There's a reason why it was so popular, and yeah.
The big question on everyone's mind: the blue fire in the trailer, is that alcohol fire?
It's just a different kind of fire. We were just like experimenting with different surfaces, and there's basically fire that harms the player, and there's fire that harms the player, and that you know, only harms enemies, and then there's fire that harms both players.
Oh, okay.
So we were just color coding it.
Yeah, because if you take a
Yeah.
hand sanitizer like Purell and you set it on fire, it burns.
Right.
blue.
I mean, maybe could be, and or some chemical fire that only hurts specific types of enemies or something. We're just experimenting with this stuff. Like we've made some interactions between that stuff that you actually that I haven't showcased even in the trailer, where you have like ice that you can then like that evaporates with when it gets in contact with fire, and you have oil that you can set on fire, and where you know where water or other liquids can't spread and such things. So we're just experimenting with gameplay mechanics with this stuff at the moment.
My sci-fi brain immediately explodes with like, well, that would be in fashion, right? If there was fire that couldn't hurt you, you would wear that fire. I would wear my sunglasses.
Yeah,
like,
it would literally be on fire the whole time. How cool would that be? Actually,
right? Like you'd have a little like you'd have a little pump like in a backpack, and you'd be spread it out your shoulder pads. You'd just be burning all the time. You'd just be a cool guy walking, and it would be in your sunglasses too.
You just wear your trench coat, your sunglasses, your I don't know submachine guns, and you just walk up to
put it on your arms, and you cross your arms, and then your sunglasses get the reflection. You're just cool all the time.
You walk up to some chick, and then you just like spontaneously burst into blue fire, and just works every time.
Yeah, it's
pretty Chad move, you know. Just set yourself on fire. Chicks love it. One very important thing, of course, because you've shown it also in the background, we have an Indiegogo campaign going at the moment, and that will of course determine also the scale of the game or how we are gonna proceed. I made a post about that. I have to be quite honest, we kind of like made a bit of a mistake. We did not really do the proper like pre-launch marketing for the campaign as you're supposed to do, as we have now learned. It's the first time we did such a crowdfunding campaign. We were so focused on working on the actual games and, you know, getting our announcements ready and polishing everything. And of course, there's always something you know kind of forget when you do this stuff.
It's hard because you know, like what sells stuff a lot of the time is a marketing ability, but then if to make something good, you need, you know, whatever ability to make the thing good, whether it's writing or game design or whatever. And so often you'll see like people sell a lot of something in a Kickstarter, Indiegogo, but they have no skill other than marketing, and then people buy it and then they hate it, you know. And like, so I talk to people and they're like, you know, they'll say something like, oh, I guess I just don't like books. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, I got this book, and it was, you know, and I was like, was it this one? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, everyone hates that. And like,
okay.
You know, it's a hard balance, because like something you find out immediately when you are doing any kind of creative work is you also need to like figure out how to do marketing. And it's like, it's hard.
Yeah. It is, and I mean, we are a small team. We are all just learning this as we're going along. You know, it's all kind of, you know, it's all a learning experience. So there's always something you forget, or I mean, you know, we're getting better at this stuff. But I mean, in the beginning, I was just like, leave me alone with all this marketing crap. I just want to make games, you know. I'm honestly not very fond of doing it. But it has to be done, and you just get into it over time. You learn it. But about our campaign, the bottom line is, so we're probably, realistically speaking, not gonna hit our ambitious goal, which is for a concept of the game we had that was intended for to have very high quality like art assets, models, which are just expensive. That stuff just costs money. But it's even if we can keep all the money that gets donated, even if we don't hit the goal. And our current goal that is a bit more realistic is to get to 10,000, which I think we can absolutely do.
Yeah,
probably even more than that.
Yeah.
So every donation counts. Every donation helps us. We will use it to have better art assets for the game. Better effects.
And, we're going to be backing this. So you watching this should also back this and grab it on your wish list on Steam, because I know that helps with getting it like recommended.
I mean, it's not on Steam yet. It's in pre-alpha, and we want to have a demo out as soon as possible, or at least a Steam page where I can wishlist it. Then, it depends on how much money we will actually get then in the end from this campaign. What we realistically might do is to have an early access version of the game out sometime next year, so we can already then with just like the first level or the first tour. So that's probably unless people start donating like crazy and we get a ton of money. But that's probably what we're gonna do.
It's especially hard on Indiegogo because it's not like the same crowdfunding website that it was a couple years ago. They've, new people taking over. They completely reorganized the website, and it's much harder to get organic growth through the site itself.
Yeah, the search is totally busted. I didn't realize how busted the search was until Trisha demonstrated it to me. Can't just go through all the pages of stuff, right? It'll show you like 6 or something.
Yeah, it has a limited amount that it shows you, and you can't search by newest campaign.
Right. So you need a direct link to get to the campaign page, and but a lot of people like to donate on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, but the question pops into my head is like, well, if no one can find it organically, what's the difference between this and a website I set up where I don't have to pay Indiegogo a percentage? But I guess
that's we have actually been thinking about that, setting up our own website, and for the same reason, because we assumed all the reach we would get is the one we create ourselves anyway. Eventually we didn't do it because we didn't have the time for it, because we had so much other stuff going on. Let's see, we tried to make the best of it, and if we hit at least those 10,000, it will definitely help us until the end of this year, and until we have some early version of the game ready. And that's also a thing that I've just understood at this point. When you're making indie games, you don't have a publisher that finances you. You just have to constantly find ways of basically generating revenue already while you make the game. You can't just wait for 2 years or something and then hope that this is going to be the big hit that will make you rich. You're probably going to run out of money before that happens. So you just have to constantly do stuff to get some extra income, so to say.
Speaking of marketing, I was talking to a guy making a vampire thing, and he was, in order to pay for like working on the project, he was donating blood, because you can get paid for donating blood. And I was like, that's perfect. Okay, so take a selfie or whatever, take a picture of you donating blood, and then save it. And then when you're on your run up, you're like, whatever your run up to the Kickstarter launch or Indiegogo launch or whatever kind of crowdfunding thing, post, make a social media like thing, like put that in your like train of like
your marketing.
Yeah, your marketing like, train up to the thing. But he wouldn't hear it. Like he hated it. He was like, no, I don't want to do that. While I have a needle in one arm, I'm supposed to pull out my phone with the other arm. It's like, dude, if it was me and I was working on a vampire thing, I'd be every single time I'd be like, it's like a slam dunk marketing thing, because people would react to that and be like, oh shit, like
that's how you have to think, but that's like the marketing mindset. But of course, like there are certain people, and I'm afraid I'm a little bit one of those people who are like, I don't want to do like stupid stuff like that. It's like, it's annoying. So we kind of even we parodied that a little bit, like with the crowdfunder campaign. Like there is the highest tier when you pay like $10,000 or 10,000 euros actually. Yeah, but you will get a flask of my bath water. So if anybody is into that and wants to give us 10,000 euros. So because basically you were asking how we were gonna do this with those 4 games. It kind of happened organically in a way. We decided to work on this, quote unquote sequel. I mean, it's a different genre and everything, but it's a follow up to The Great Rebellion. And then we had people join our team. Like people just approached us and were like, "Yeah, we think it's cool what you're doing, and I also want to make games, and I want to work with other people who are also based." And where I don't have to, I don't know, be afraid somebody will report me to an HR department if I make the wrong choice.
Yeah, it's awesome. And also, like they know they'll be working on something meaningful, because sometimes you see a game that's like it's a nightmare, but like there's this one little thing where you're like, let's say like I never even looked at it, but like Dragon Age Veilguard, it's like this like woke disaster, but like let's say there's a beautiful barrel texture and you're walking around the game giving it like a terrible view, but then you see the barrel and you're like, man, whoever worked on that barrel, he like cared. He wanted it to be good so bad, and now it's like this like laughing stock. Like you see it with movies a lot, but the special effects guys, like they work hard, and then the writers are just like, yeah, take Joker into the bathroom. Like
that's the thing. It must be so frustrating because I know people pour their hearts and their souls into that, and then that's the end result of that. So we at least we can't promise people a lot of money at the moment because we don't have it. we hope that will change one day. But we can promise people that that it will be meaningful.
You're not going to try to make it bad on purpose.
It's also something. I mean, hey, we will respect what you make, and that was then. That was kind of the idea that like people approached us, people joined our team, and they were like, okay, we could all just work on one game, or we could make it so that we have multiple little teams that work on their own games, because people also, we did like a brainstorming session where we, tried to come up with ideas of what we want to make, and there were multiple ideas that we kind of liked, and so we were like, because it's also kind of easier to have like multiple smaller teams than one big team, because you need less, organizational overhead, less, effort to coordinate things. If you just have like 2 or 3 guys who are like working together very closely, you don't need to have meetings all the time and such. So, exactly. So we basically now have like all of these 4 games, have between 2 and 4 guys working on them at the moment. So the next is Serena State's Last Guy. We were approached by a bunch of people we actually already knew for some time, like friends of ours, who have been working on this game already for over 2 years. And actually, this game started out as a game jam project at one of the game jams we made way back. So it always, I guess, had this connection, but it wasn't really made by me or anyone on the core team. But eventually the guys approached us and were like, hey, do you want to help us market and quote unquote publish this game? So we're more like the publishers for this game, which is kind of funny to think of ourselves as publishers. But I mean, we are actually also helping a little bit with programming and technical stuff. But for the most part, this game is already very far advanced. We'll hopefully
probably a more helpful publisher than a lot of publishers out there.
We are definitely not like interfering with any creative processes or telling them what to put in the game.
And like you said, they can ask you questions and you might know. Whereas like
I mean, we can actually help them with programming. We did help them with a few technical things, and we already put the game on Steam, so we can tell them like how it is to release a game on Steam, what you have to take into consideration and such, and we can help them. I mean, we are not like a professional publisher, but we have the experience of releasing one game so far, and that's something already. So we decided to cooperate there.
I think I'm the most curious to see more of this game because of the concept art that you show off in the trailer, where you're like you're showing like the early 2000s design of those like awful looking like video players. But when I see it, I'm just like, it like explodes my brain with like endorphins. I remember those didn't work, those sucked. But like when I see it, I'm like, oh yeah. And also
back then, I found those a bit like I didn't particularly like those. But is it like a nostalgia, or maybe it's because it has like this type of design? It's as corny as it may be. It has this. It has the optimism. Still a little bit. There is like a kind of
too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like they were
yeah.
like, what's the coolest looking thing I could make? Instead of like, the current thing is like, how like, how much can I reduce this logo until there's nothing? Like, how much can I reduce the design? Like, why don't I take all the color out of like the McDonald's and just have like this box that's made out of
Right.
wood and
Turn Dunkin' Donuts just to Dunkin'.
yeah. Eventually reduce
Yeah,
it all the way to the apostrophe.
exactly. Everything is drained of its also maybe its imperfections or whatever you want to call it, but that gives it character, that makes it so we wanted to just like kind of I guess celebrate that with that game.
But when
Just,
you're looking at the design, right, it has so much extra space that's taken up. It's got the audio visualizer, which some people miss, right? But then it's got all these extra buttons and like...
It's not very efficient, but like this whole just the fact that you do this, that you don't completely prioritize efficiency and leave a little bit of space for like this playful, unnecessary stuff.
You have all this, it's taking up all this extra space on the sides, but you're kind of like, oh, it's good. And it's like a nice shape.
Kind of neat. Feels nice. There's clouds.
Makes you want to listen to what is it, Butterfly on here?
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me. I get flashbacks of very specific moments in my life when I see this stuff.
Yeah. And like the Halo comparison too. I initially when I watched it, I didn't really see the Halo, and then when I was just looking at it now, right there. That's a Halo multiplayer map if I ever saw one.
Yeah, I mean the gameplay obviously is not like Halo at all, but it's
there's something about the liminal spaces of like the Halo multiplayer maps that's so striking, and you see it like, right in that shot. That area is very much that. Even
there are a lot of big like these big empty areas in the game or empty hallways. The whole thing is like you're in this abandoned facility, and you puzzle together. You have to figure out what actually happened there and who you even are, and so it has a lot of liminal space, liminal spaces, like aesthetic.
Yeah, and then the character, by the way, is so animated. It feels very like Pixar or like
a lot of movement.
Yeah, he's very minimalist, obviously in his design, but I also just really love the guy. Like the animator who made it, he's very talented. He gave him a lot of character, and then this little animation at the end where he drinks the soy drink. It's awesome.
Soy breeze.
Yes.
And there will be Soylent Green drinks and think like, why the fuck would I buy that? I know what happens in the book.
I know, right? It's horrible.
So yeah, that's Serena State's last guy. As I said, like the guys approached us when the game was already in a pretty advanced state. Will hopefully still release this year. A demo is out. You can download a demo this very moment on Steam. It's a puzzle person platform. It says,
right?
Yeah, it can be wishlisted, and the demo can be downloaded.
Sweet. Yeah, if you don't want to spend any money, but you want to support these guys, definitely wishlist stuff, because I know
wishlist always helps a lot. We were happy about any wishlist. It will help you a lot when you release the game. And that's the third game. Which is the one where I have honestly like the most. This is most of my passion project.
I love the art intro and the writing too. It really captures that like dwarven poetry thing. Like,
we wanted to have like an actual poem. We put in the effort to write an actual poem and make it sound good, and basically it's that's Kvlt. It's gonna be a classic fantasy dungeon crawler, just classic Tolkien-esque Dungeons and Dragons type fantasy. Like no nonsense, none of that newfangled stuff, no irony, no Starbucks Starbucks coffee shop fantasy, no Mexican orcs. It's just old school.
I noticed
the demons are evil. You slaughter the orcs. That's what they're for.
Oh, thank God.
It's that kind, and we were able to get a bunch of at this point it's 2, but we tried to actually get more dungeon synth artists who are actual musicians.
Yeah,
who have
dungeon synth in a game is. I don't know if someone's done that yet, but that is a very.
I have always been thinking, because I'm a big fan of dungeon synth, which I mean,
yeah.
Considering what the T-shirt you're wearing, I mean the synth tracks by Burzum were probably, I guess, the first dungeon synth, or I don't know, I guess Mortis came a bit later, I think.
I guess
I think so.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a game this for a long time, like, because I like these sort of first-person things, but I like these first-person RPGs, but I will often have a game open while I'm writing, and when it's a thing you have to pause, it's it's more like disruptive. But if with this, it's turn-based, and I see
turn-based. I intentionally, I always wanted it to be turn-based, because I always liked these 3D dungeon crawlers where you move in a grid. But usually, Dungeon Master, I have to behold that they were real time, and I always found that very stressful. And the controls, as much as I like these games, the controls were never that great, in my opinion. Yeah, it was always very fidgety to move around and do the combat. So I wanted it to be turn-based. So it's more like a puzzle. You have to think where are all the enemies? Where do I need to position myself? Or will they move in the next turn? So it's a bit more meditative, I guess, and you can also do just something different in the meantime.
And making it turn-based, you can raise the difficulty more, because in Legend of Grimrock, the higher the difficulty, the more basic your build has to be, because you can't really cast multiple spells in combat. You can, but it's slower to cast spells. Whereas if you just have punching characters, you can just click, 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 click. You have 2 guys in the back that throw stuff and 2 guys in front that punch. You'll be fine. You just click, 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 click. Circle. You keep on clicking like that, and then you move and you click, click, click. But,
that's exactly why I wanted it to be turn-based, because I felt that in order for all these mechanics that are actually in these games to really shine and to really make the most of them, you kind of need to have it be turn-based, because otherwise, it's too stressful, and you will always just do whatever gets you the quickest through the game. So that's there is also a slight a base building and resource management element. The gameplay loop will be kind of you have your base. It's kind of like a Moria type situation. There is this big dwarven fortress, and it has been overrun by demons. And you are at the entrance. You build your base where you always return, and then you go into the dungeon, and you get some loot. You kill monsters.
Reminds me a little bit of Darkest Dungeon with the base building.
It's a little bit, yes, it is a little bit this. It's kind of like Darkest Dungeon, but instead of but the actual dungeon delving part is like these old school dungeon crawlers. That's kind of a bit the base idea, and it's very. I don't know what is the best word. I don't even want to say old school or so. It's just earnest heroic fantasy without
awesome.
anything else. A
big problem.
It's a celebration of that.
I love fantasy, and a big problem is that it attracts. You could say the same thing with sci-fi in space. It attracts people who hate humans, humans that hate themselves so much. They feel like it's a virtue that they hate themselves. And so they're well, elves care about the environment, and so I like the elves, but I hate humans. Humans ruin everything. I'm going to write it so humans suck. They're bad at everything, but I'm going to write the elves, and they recycle, but not like those humans. And you get these worlds where not only do you have humans are constantly being degraded through the whole story, and you'll even sometimes play as characters that hate humans who are human, which is a crazy thing to try and wrap your head around. But it's the writer and all their friends. They all hate humans. They wish
they hate themselves probably, and they probably don't want to be human.
And so you're facing down this prospect of consuming media that hates you and wants you to agree with the writer that you're bad. And so you're sort of just like you're like standing at the beach like one of those big pillars, just being eroded by every wave. You're just slowly being worn away instead of something that fortifies you, reminds you that like humans are great. Humans can go and adventure and
save the world.
It's like, and so there's great
that's
fantasy done by someone like Kvlt.
Yeah, that's a very pointed observation. Yeah, that's because I grew up with Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, and all these heroic tales and fantasy in general. And then, as you said, like these were tales that kind of like in the end were uplifting, and they were about like the great things that people can achieve and heroic deeds and tales of high adventure, and I just completely miss that with fantasy these days. It's either like just completely banal stuff, like I don't know, we all go into the dungeon and then we eat sushi or something. Like, what the fuck? Is that the most heroic thing you can imagine or what? And yeah, so that's really what I want to do with this game, like bring back that feeling I had as a kid, as a teenager, when I grew up with all these stories. Yeah. And also it's a mobile game. So that's that's something that probably a lot of people found pretty weird, but I think
you make the distinction though. It's a handheld, not a mobile game.
Right.
You don't want to have this bunch of microtransactions and everything.
I think of it more as a handheld game, yes, because if you hear mobile, you think microtransactions, you think like slop, you think all these horrible brain rot games. So we tried to frame it as more as a mobile, as a handheld game. There will be a free demo. You can play like the first 15 minutes of the game for free, and then you have to pay once. It's a little bit like shareware, basically, in that sense, like the old shareware games you could try. And
Forge was like that. The spiderweb software.
The Jeff KvltGames, kind of like that. Yeah, that's actually I used to play. I never played Forge. I heard very good things about it, but I played the Exile games when I back in the day. That guy's also like kind of an inspiration because he's just always been doing his thing. Like he has been he has just been refining the formula of these games over and over again, and it works.
The Geneforge games they're just it's such a weird setting, but it's so cool. It's biopunk fantasy. And like you play you get shipwrecked as this member of this race of like super based like wizards who create minions, and then you command them in the game. And then like as the games go on, the writing gets like less based. It gets more like softer, like, oh, there's these rebels, is it really right for them to be making and controlling life? And so it gets a little bit like but the first game is like very
yeah, I mean man, I have such a backlog of games I'm never gonna play at this point, but it's in there of games I want to try at least once at one point. So we want to release this first for mobile, and then the mobile version will be a bit more adapted for mobile. It will be a bit more casual, like the gameplay mechanics will be a bit simpler, and then after that we want to make an expanded version for PC, which will also be have a bit more story and more complex game mechanics.
I like that you mentioned it's not going to be like brain rot, because
you have experience with kids playing brain rot games on mobile.
One of my nephews is like playing this game, and Trisha actually made this observation. I was trying to tell them before they even when the baby was little. I was like, listen, let me help you guys out with like what video games to show them when they can do screen time and stuff like that. I was like, please, because there's a lot of really bad games for your brain and stuff. Like there's all these Skinner boxes that kind of train you that you should gamble, and like stuff like that. And Trisha made the observation. She was looking at it. She's like, well, there's nothing he can do to lose. He's playing some Sonic game, and like, no matter what you do, you get all these points. And, like, you run for a certain amount of time, and it gives you all these points. And there's no way to fail. So it's always just this. He's not even interested in the game. He doesn't even look at the game really. He just wants to wait until the points show up, and he likes seeing the points.
Yeah, it's just like the dopamine hit whenever something goes bing bing and some number goes up and so on. Yeah. That's the thing. That's the brain rot game. Like these games that play themselves mostly.
Yeah, no puzzle for what I'm saying.
Yeah, nothing. So I mean, some people have commented that the mobile game audience is just basically retarded at this point because they have been made retarded by these games, so they won't even understand what we are trying to do here. I don't know. I'm not that pessimistic. I think there is probably an audience for that.
There's another game that did the same thing you're trying to do. It's the same. It's like the same style too. The Quest or something.
The Quest, yeah. I know. And what
they went from mobile to PC, and you know.
Yeah, so that's good to see that it's possible that other people have done that too. So we are not completely crazy with this, and it's also just I don't know. It's also I just have to say like. A mobile is a very capable computer. Like a mobile phone is a very capable computer, and like any other computer, it can run games, and there is no reason why they should be shitty. Like I just kind of want to prove that it doesn't have to be like that, and it wasn't always like that. It was like there was what's it called, Orcs and Elves, was also kind of a bit of a similar dungeon crawl, and of course the Doom RPG by Carmack. He made this game when we still had the flip phones. He made like a Doom RPG for those mobile phones, pre-smartphone mobile phones. So these things existed at a point in time, but then when smartphones got big, and companies found out that they can just churn out these like cheap games and get a ton of money with them, that was the end, and everything like just went downhill. But again, it could have gone into a different direction. Like we have been talking about that also internally. Like, are we just like doing like nostalgia bait here, or what are we even doing here? So and I think that's not really the right way to see it. It's more like, what if before things went down the drain, you just take it as it was back then, and a thread that you pick up and then weave it into the future again.
You're literally like building the alternate history. Like
it's like exactly like an alternate timeline in which not everything went to total shit, basically.
And you've just decided the alternate timeline is now. We're starting it.
Exactly, because exactly we just decided that mobile games don't have to suck, and that's why we do this. We just
awesome. Yeah,
that's the idea. Yeah.
Oh, also, I wanted to point out, whoever the guy who did the intro, the line art intro, is attention to detail, because
he's a very talented artist. We are very lucky also to have him. His name is Neocreos on Twitter.
Yeah, I've been looking at caves a lot because I do like fantasy writing. This is called a flowstone formation at the lip of the cave of the tunnel there. So that's how they really form like that.
Yeah, he's extremely. I know he's extremely. He pays a lot of attention to detail. He sometimes tells me stuff about the drawings he makes that I would have never noticed. But yeah. And also, I really love this picture with the different heroes. Like elves and dwarves and humans.
And he's got the chainmail fits. It goes up to his chin.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, we're paying attention here. Everything is very, there is a bit of a theme of like Nordic theme going on, and like high Middle Ages, but not complete like like Renaissance or later. We try to like keep it a bit more grounded.
Yeah, but it looks really cool. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, I think it could be a fun thing to do also from like on a mobile, like when you're, I don't know, sitting on a bus or whatever, because it is.
Yeah, that's another question. Is it going to be live service? Like, can someone buy the game and then go offline with it?
Let me think. There is no reason why. Yes, you don't have to be like always online. You can also just play it
Yeah, and that's a big thing because a
can
lot
play
of
it
mobile
offline.
games want you connected to the internet so they can charge you.
Yeah.
So even if
Yeah.
you say, I'm never going to pay microtransactions, if the bus goes in a tunnel, you can't play that on the bus anymore. So, like this game...
No, that won't be the case with this game. That will not be the case with this game. I'm generally, even like mobile or PC, I hate always online. Forced always online.
Oh yeah, I hate that too, and it's awesome to first of all hear a developer say that, because great things for the future. But also this is a more reliable game that you could play mobile because you just need the phone to be on. Like you don't need internet connection. So
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm old-fashioned or something. But back in my day, if you had a game, you could play it whether you were connected to the internet or not.
And even
that's how it should be.
You could turn an old phone into a Game Boy, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's kind of what we want to do.
You could connect to the Wi-Fi, download, buy this game, and then even if your phone, like the one that has cell service, like your new phone, even if you use that for everything else, you could just pop open your Dvergold and because it doesn't require internet connection. So.
And then we got the last game.
Oh yeah, I thought the dialogue writing was pretty solid in this one.
Yeah, this is the fourth game, Biostician. We have Dave Martell. Maybe some people know him. He writes. He publishes comics. He makes music. He's a very he's also he's kind of like he does a million different things. He has this.
It sounds familiar, but I'm not super familiar with him.
Yeah, he has this magazine called The Bizarre Archives, where he publishes.
I've seen that, but I haven't. Yeah.
These kind of like pulp. It's kind of like pulp fiction, like the pulp story, like weird fiction, where H.P. Conan, H.P. Lovecraft published his stories there. So it's in that tradition. And this game, he writes the story for it and also the dialogues. It's kind of a new take on cosmic horror of sorts. We wanted to take a new, like a fresh setting that is not done to death. So we didn't take straight cyberpunk. It's solar punk.
Yeah.
Which is also this very optimistic future vision. Like solar punk, it's like basically this idea that with technology you can solve environmental problems, and generally it has a little bit this utopian thing going on. But actually in this case we do kind of subvert it, I have to say, because in this the story of this game, it used to be like this big solar punk city with huge like gardens on the houses and everything, like hydroponic gardens and such. But it kind of went to shit. There was like various catastrophes, environmental catastrophes, civil war and such. And now it's just like this mega city which barely holds together with like an AI controlling most of its systems. And you play this guy who is an AI technician. And he in this world you have to have permits if you want to have children. So he wants to get a permit to have a kid with his girlfriend, and he's cutting a deal with his boss. If he does a certain mission, or if he does a certain task, he can get such a permit, and that's like the start of the story. And then he investigates some anomaly in the AI system. And
speaking of retro UIs,
I'm a big fan. I love big UIs, and we're gonna go full in this game when it comes to UI. There is this little head in the lower left side, which will in the final game, it will basically be the head of the protagonist, and you can see his facial expressions. It will be used basically as an additional way to show his emotions, and so kind of like the in Doom, the Doom guy. We have some ideas to use it to give subtle hints like about his mental state and such things. Right. So it's gonna be very text heavy. It's gonna be gameplay wise, like similar to classic point and click adventures, like Grim Fandango we said in the Kvltcast, or Longest Journey. These kind of where you are in a 3D environment, but you move away, you move around in a point and click fashion, and that's the basic idea of this game. And it's gonna have a really cool soundtrack also.
Yeah, all your soundtracks are
soundtracks
always
are pretty
super
good.
solid. You got dungeon synth going on for the fantasy game Verigold, and then you got the first game.
Yeah, for Hyper Rebellion, we want to still keep it kind of electronic, like in the Great Rebellion, but more in a metal direction. It's gonna be like synth metal, you know, like industrial synth metal.
Cool.
Yeah. The guy Retro Rebel, who made the soundtrack for the first game for the Great Rebellion, bought an actual guitar specifically for that now, and has learned to play it, and decides it's gonna be synth metal this time. Because everything will be edgier this time around and more brutal.
Right. Represent the extra grittiness you're introducing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. Music is just I can't play an instrument. I have no idea of music in that sense, but music was always like really important in my life. I don't know. The music I listened to was always a big part of. Yeah, it was just always important for me, and all of these. All of the music in our games is music that I personally also like. And
yeah, I mean, it is part of you tell the story.
Yeah.
Like whenever I'm playing Great Rebellion, sometimes I'll just stop and be like, man, that's a sick track.
Thanks. I'll forward that to Retro. Yeah, he's a pretty talented
guy on a boss, and you're like, but the song is gone now. Forget about my items.
Yeah. Nah, we I mean, you know, in all modesty, I can say that we have a bunch of like really talented guys. I think, you know, what we're doing, it's just because it's meaningful, because it's not the usual slop production. It just attracts people who have talents, but who don't find a way to use those talents properly in like the normal. It's like normal gaming industry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not all we need is money. That's the main. That's the main.
Yeah.
That's always the
It's hard sometimes to be good at stuff in those like very like left-leaning circles, because it's sort of this this worship of being bad at stuff. People say like disability Olympics, but it's kind of like kind of goes beyond that. Like if you're too good at this or that, it's kind of people don't like it. So it sort of incentivizes people to kind of be bad at everything, sort of like be bad just generally at stuff, like not try too hard and like...
Because there's no point to try hard, right?
Yeah. So
well, you wouldn't want to make anybody feel bad because they're maybe not so good.
Play video games at like a video gaming club at like a liberal arts college. There's something so crazy about... like everyone in the room being like so much worse than you that it's like if they're like children, it's like so strange, and like everybody doesn't know how to like, you know, play the games because
is it because they never actually play the games, or because they they have a different mindset where they don't want to like...
I've thought about this a lot. I'm like, why were they so bad? And my theory is that it's because they're kind of incentivized to be bad at games and stuff. But like, I remember I picked up the controller for, there was like a Gundam game, but it was like some Japanese game with all these Gundams. You know, all these people were like, it's their favorite game, right? Because it has every Gundam from all the different properties. And then I play and I pick the, is it called a Zaku? Or the generic guys that have, I think they have an axe and they have an assault rifle. And then the other guy picks like, you know, some crazy, the guy with the katana, like laser sword and whatever. It was so easy for me to win with like the worst. Everyone laughing when I picked the character. It was so easy to win, and I was like so confused because and then it was like, you know, it was like a pickup game of like, can you beat the best person in the room? I was like, yes, and then you know, and then I like gave the controller back or whatever. After I beat the, you know, it's just
maybe they just don't play games in that sense that they want to like, you know, be as good at it as possible, because that's...
Yeah, I mean, but I don't even play games like that, you know?
I also don't. I mean...
So it's like, it was a very weird experience, but like...
Interesting.
As soon, like, I would be there for a while and I'd be like, this can't be good for me. Like, whatever is going on here, I feel like too like this. My ego is getting out of control. I'm gonna like walk in front of a bus and like feel like I'm invincible. Like
I have to. What you said about like working in these leftist environments in the industry. This reminds me of an anecdote that somebody I talked to some time ago told me, who also worked at a gaming company, and he was like the most friendly guy ever, like very nice guy, but he was like 2 meters tall and he lifted a lot and he was like this totally like massive like mountain of a guy, but like extremely friendly and nothing threatening about him at all. But he told me that basically at that company where he was, he became basically almost paranoid because people told him that he comes across as threatening, and that he has to be like extra friendly to everybody because otherwise, I don't know, people get scared of him or something. And he was already becoming like super self-conscious. It's like such a weird thing that you make somebody feel self-conscious and then paranoid because he's like big and strong.
Yeah,
it's just such a weird inversion of everything basically.
There's a thing where like you're not supposed to say different things are better than other things, because someone was explaining to me that's the definition of fascism, is that there's a hierarchy. So if you say one food is better than another, like at a lunch table, you say like, oh, that food sucks, I like this food.
That's basically fascism.
Yeah, they'll be like, well, I think it's okay if people enjoy apples. It's like, yeah, I didn't say that. I just like oranges. Like, it'll be this like weird kind of like it's bad to have one thing be better or to get
everything in the world is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. It's like an entropy where everything kind of like
everything is just like goo. Like the entire existence just collapses into like some kind of like goo slop thing.
Whereas like clearly when you look at the trailers for your games, it's people that really like they want it to be really good. And they want to be good at it, It's evident from watching the trailers, and that's
the thing is like we have very little resources. We're just a bunch of guys. We don't have a lot of money, so we have this like really hard like drive to make the most of it and make it as good as we can, and do stuff that probably you just don't have to do if you have like more resources and if you can just like coast through things a bit easier. So we do have this like automatically it just comes with what we are doing, that we want to be like very good at it, or as good as we can given our scope. So I mean, everybody on our team could just work in some bigger company and probably earn decent money, and it would be very easy. Like nobody on our team has to do this to themselves, We would have other options, so we purely do it because we believe in what we're doing.
It's fulfilling, right? You want to do something good. Yeah,
that's worth a lot. Yeah, I mean, eventually you also have to pay your rent and so on. So there is that.
Right.
But
so hopefully you get a bunch more backers on your Kickstarter.
Yeah. So as I said, like our current goal is at least to get to 10k euro, and let's see, maybe we can make 20k. Realistically, we are. At this point, not going to make our final goal, but whatever, it doesn't matter. We, adopt, improvise, overcome. We will make it work either way.
Yeah. Also, like, just because the launch is slow doesn't mean you can't pick up.
No, I mean we still have 42 days left, and we are kind of doing now what we should have probably done before the launch. We are talking to influencers. We are writing to people. We are promoting the campaign, and it's going to be fine. And we have different plans. Depending on how much money we have. We have a plan for if we have very little money, and we have a plan for if we have more money. So we're gonna do it.
Cool, yeah. I mean, and we'll send this around to some people. See if anyone else wants to like interview you or whatever.
Yes, yeah. The word.
Absolutely, we would be very grateful.
The Melee Games Discord.
Yeah. I was also on the Melee Games stream. Right.
Oh, you were actually on their stream?
No, I mean the KvltGames was on the.
Oh yeah.
They talked about the KvltGames. I mean, I did talk to them before, but wait, did I talk to them on a stream or just like a Discord? I don't remember actually. But they had a segment about Kvltcasting in case.
Maybe you should add a tier to your Kickstarter where you dance to Bear Force 1 for.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not so young anymore, but I need the money, so I'll do anything, you know.
I don't know.
I'll play. I don't know. I do the what.
No offense to James, but it's not like he's this like hunk muffin over there.
Well, he's got a lot of energy.
Yeah, he's got the energy. That's
what helps.
That's what's important. And he's got the sunglasses too. That helps a lot.
Of course.
He's got the crazy eyes. And he's,
All right, so to everybody
Right.
watching at home, be sure to wish list all the games that were featured here and back the campaign for Hyper Rebellion.
Let's make gaming good again.
Yes, we will do our best, and yeah, I'm actually genuinely excited for us to like make those games, because all of these are games that I actually want to play. Like I regularly, when we have internal meetings and so on, I think like, man, we have to like, you know, hurry up. I want to play these games.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No, that's an awesome feeling to have.
Yeah, no, it's good to be enthusiastic about things, like even if it's not always easy. But
Thank you for joining us for
thanks for having me.
conversation.
Yeah.
That's a very nice conversation, and you know, anytime again.
Yeah, it was great talking to you. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll do something like when you're more towards the crunch at the end or something. We'll see if we can do some kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. When things are a bit more advanced and we have more to show. I mean, at the moment things are still in a relatively early age. Most of the in a relatively early phase. Most of the all the games except for Serena States are pre-alpha at this point. So yeah.
And you usually get the most backers like at the beginning and the end of the campaign.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the thing is, like, what I didn't really understand before we started the campaign is that, like, the first 2 days of a campaign, like, are extremely crucial. And you usually already, you know, you email to people, you build up a bunch of, like, a certain pool of people that will almost certainly donate once you start the campaign. So then you have this momentum in the beginning. If you don't have that, it's going to be very difficult. So yeah, you live, you learn. We might even make another campaign. I mean, I don't want to like overdo it so that people think we're like e-baggers or something. But we are also delivering. So, but we might make another campaign maybe next year or so for one of the other games, either Kvlt or Biostation. Let's see.
Yeah, maybe like but yeah, maybe we'll do something like towards the like when the campaign is coming to getting closer to the end, we'll try and do another like burst or something, like have you guys on a stream or something. I don't know. Yeah,
that would be cool. And if you have, if you know other people, or if you have someone who also wants to have us on their stream, anytime.
Yeah, I mentioned it to a couple people. I'll see. Let's see what we can do. Make gaming based again. It'd be it'd be nice to have like good games.
I don't know. I just want games to feel a little bit more like they used to. I mean, I understand we all get. It's like we all get older, and people say like, nah, you don't actually want games to be like back then again. You just want to be young again. And I mean, there's probably a little bit of truth to that, but it's also not completely true. Like I sometimes play old games again, or even games that I haven't even played when I was young, and I just like them better. I don't know. It's just objectively.
Yeah, and it's also like, because you see some people that are like really black-pilled. Like I talked to one guy, and he's like, I don't want gaming to be saved. I want to just die. I only play retro games now. It's like so black-pilled. And there's other people like Zoomers who will be like, they're anti-video game. They're like, all video games are bad. You should just like,
because they grew up with bad.
Because they never, they lived in a time and they were all bad. And I saw.
Well, if that's all I knew, I would probably also think they would suck. I don't know.
Yeah, think about movies. Like, when has a good movie come out? Like, when has the last nerdy good movie come out? It's like,
I don't know. It's like very, very rare. Like in general, pop culture. I mean, some people say like whatever. It's not even such a bad thing that pop culture is so bad because we should concern ourselves with other things anyway. I don't know. It's okay to have entertainment and have fun.
Yeah,
things. It's okay. It's fine. You can do that.
Yeah, there's so much like there's so much good that like good media can do for you, because like you want to entertain yourself for a little bit, and let's say like 99% of your time you're spending doing something else. But like when you see like this depiction of these like big jacked Greek guys killing Persians, that does something good to you. Like that is something that is like beneficial for you to see media like that, to see like Lord of the Rings, where they're like doing this heroic charge, like like all the speeches in Lord of the Rings, like the the charge of the Rohirrim at
in Helm's Deep, and it's I mean they have so much there. I mean that's of course because Tolkien was also just a good writer, and there's so much good dialogue. It's even small things like when Sam gives his little speech to Frodo, that they're still good in this world and all this stuff.
Yeah,
there's just so much you can take out of that. Like this.
Yeah, and
that's how it used to be. You had entertainment. It's entertaining. You have like cool fights against monsters and everything. You have all that, but there's also more. Like it's not just pure spectacle without anything behind it. It's like movies I grew up with. I don't know, like Willow or something was a movie I loved as a kid.
And like what backs up Tolkien is like the historical stuff. Like the charge at Helm's Deep was an homage to the charge of the Winged Hussars at the Siege of Vienna. And that literally saved the West. That was like not every like there's the Holy League, right, which was very loose alliance, and like no one was really expecting that to be honored, and then it was, and everybody showed up. Everybody from all around Europe showed up, and they charged down. It was like this ridiculous figure of how many, like some of the historical accounts say 30,000 armored cavalry, which is like it's a shit ton until you realize every country in Europe is contributing to that, not just the Winged Hussars. But that's a huge...
it wasn't just the Poles, but even though
but they had the fancy wings.
They had the fancy wings, so everybody remembers them. That's we also, by the way, just as a little side note, we have a little Easter egg. The game The Great Rebellion, we originally sold it for $16.83 bucks on our website, not on Steam. And 1683 is the year when the Siege of Vienna and the Winged Hussars.
That's cool.
So that's because you just mentioned that. So anyway, basically, I think what the bottom line is that it's our entertainment. Call it what you want. The stories that we consume, that we tell to each other. It should be fun, but that it should have that substance, and that has just completely. That's a whole another discussion why that happened, but it has just completely lost any of that. It's no soul, no substance. It's just pure CGI spectacle. It's just like the music isn't even music anymore. I know I sound like a total boomer, but it's just objective.
No, I agree.
I turn on the radio, like it's like those aren't songs, That's like sound design. It's like 3 notes or something and a bunch of effects. That's not actually music, Like. That's not how music works. So everything has just become like completely horrible. But we are making things that are good. So that's the that's the gist of it.
We're on the upswing.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't get any lower.
and stuff does seem to be improving, because like for a long time people would look at you like you're crazy if you said that stuff kind of sucked and that like the themes and stuff are bad, but now people are more conscious of all this stuff, and I think just the natural state for people is to not be here, to be up here, and we're on our way back up, and I'm glad you guys are contributing to that by putting out media so that someone can play any game that is not like horribly degrading to like all of Western society. Like
I just literally want to make games that people can play and they and it doesn't hurt them, it doesn't like drag them down.
You should motivate them to create a better world out there.
Yeah, and like the media you see is what you reflect in your life. If you put up a picture of a jacked guy in your gym, like you put up a picture of Arnold in your like home gym in your garage, that's going to motivate you to get jacked like Arnold. If you see a loser in your video game, it's going to make you a loser, But if you play based games, you're going to, have a better life. It's a good thing you guys are doing over there. So I'm glad somebody's fighting in the video game front. It's kind kind of
it is. It's not easy, and making video games is just really hard. That's just objectively true. But it's also a lot of fun, and it's also very painful. It's both at the same time. Thanks for having me.
Everybody back.
Everyone back the
back the
Hyper
campaign.
Rebellion.
Yeah.
We'll have links in the description.
Yeah, check it out.